Hi, I'm Natasha Davis from Because You Can, and what I want to talk about today is something called your personal rights. So this is used mostly in assertiveness, but this does apply to lots of areas. These are basic rights that everyone, it's useful for everyone to believe that they have. Whether they whether they choose these rights or not is up to them. In some contexts, some people would say that they can't choose particular rights, but actually these are rights that everyone has. So we'll just run through these now. I have the right to ask for what I want. So that's the first one. Some people might think they don't have the right, but actually they do. I have the right to say yes and no for myself. I have the right to express all of my feelings, positive or negative. Now, some objections to that might be that if I have something negative to say, I might hurt someone's feelings. But you have the right. Whether you choose that right or not is up to you. I have the right to change my mind. Again, some people might say, I can't change my mind once I've said I'm doing something. I don't want to let people down. These are all rules that you have as a person, and these rules will affect your experience of the world. I have the right to make mistakes and not have to be perfect. Okay, that's probably useful if you've got a little bit of a perfectionist streak. I have the right to follow my own values and standards. Yeah, you have the right to raise those standards, you have the right to lower those standards, you have the right to choose your standards. I have the right to feel scared and say I'm afraid. Yeah, you have the right to be vulnerable as well. I have the right to say I don't know. Yeah, not everyone has the answers. No one has the answers to everything actually. So you have the right to say you don't know. It's not a sign of weakness. I have the right not to give excuses for reasons for my behaviour. Okay, as long as that behaviour is logical to you, it doesn't matter if it's not logical to anyone else. I have the right to make decisions based on my feelings. Most of us are actually led by our feelings and our thoughts, and maybe we're not making real choices, but you have the right to make your own decisions based on your gut instinct or your feelings, and that's another basic right. I have the right to my own needs for personal space and time. So, it's important for everyone to have balance, and it's important for people to have a range of activities, things they do with others, things they do on their own. Yes, space and time to themselves, me time, I like to call it. I have the right to be playful and frivolous. Quite often when we get older, we think we have to grow up, and actually, it's quite good to be playful and frivolous and feed your inner child. I have the right to be healthier than those around me. Okay, sometimes we can be around people who aren't healthy, but you have the right to be healthier and not to feel bad about that. I have the right to be in a non-abusive environment. Yeah. As someone who's been in a non-abusive environment, I know what that's like. So you have the right, but you have to take that right. Sometimes I think people just put up with things, or don't know that they deserve better. I have the right to make friends and be comfortable around people. So yeah, you do have the right to meet new friends. You have the right to be comfortable around other people. A lot of people with things like anxiety don't feel comfortable around other people, but that is the right that they have, and there are things that they can do to feel more comfortable around other people. Quite often with things like anxiety, people tend to avoid situations, which doesn't really help anxiety and can sometimes make it worse. So there are other ways to deal with that. I have the right to change and grow. Yeah, we're all constantly changing. and it's good to grow. This quote by Anthony Robbins says, "Change is inevitable, progress is not." You know, is the change happening to you, or are you kind of directing that change and growth and putting yourself into situations where you grow more? But that is a right. I have the right to have my needs and wants respected by others. Yeah. Quite often with assertiveness, especially if people are passive, they don't tend to have their needs and wants respected by others. They put other people first, think that their needs are far more important, and then maybe end up saying yes to lots of things that they don't really want to do. I have the right to be treated with dignity and respect. Yeah, so you do have the right to be treated in that way. You know, sometimes people can get into situations where they aren't treated in that way, but it's good to remember that you always have the right. So then you can change that. I have the right to be happy. Everyone has the right to be happy. Sometimes it may be that when you're happy, other people who are not happy are not very nice about that, but you have the right to be happy. So that's a really, really good one to remember. So if you bear in mind all of these basic rights, it's quite useful to maybe write them down and stick them on your fridge or something, get comfortable with them. Then that's kind of the first step in assertiveness. And I'm going to do some more videos later on about some other steps that might help you too. So if you want to get in touch, you can reach me through my website of www.because-you-can.co.uk.